But anyway, my name is Gavin Dell, and I have been working in as a director and an animator out in Hollywood for the last 32 years for some of Hollywood's biggest studios. And I returned to Kansas City last year to begin this venture to bring the first trade school for animation to Kansas City called the Hollywood Animation Academy. And yeah, that's me. And that was me when I was directing on Scooby-Doo and working for Warner Brothers and visiting the Haunted Mansion while I was working on Pirates of the Caribbean. My job as a director over a lot of the last 15 years is to work with a team of people to help them raise and elevate their work to the highest levels. And I wanted to bring that to a school setting and make it a little bit more practical. And my idea is for people to get trained by Hollywood industry animators from major studios and the video game industry, and have a school that will help people be trained and be ready to work in half the time for half of the money. And one of the ways that we're accomplishing this is that because of COVID jumping us 10 years into the future, kind of with technology and communication, it's kind of opened up this hybrid work from home kind of workspace, and also people teaching remotely and things like that. Well, the Hollywood Animation Academy will be a brick and mortar building where I will be the foundational instructor for the first class. But we will also have these like rock star masterclass level animators and talent that can, Zoom instruct from Hollywood. They all work at Disney, Warner Brothers, Insomniac Games, Infinity Ward, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and many more. This is just a small sample of them, but it really gives the students, like a guest instructor or special guest speaker every week that gives a window into what's happening in the studios that they would want to work at. And they can find out about the trends and learn from people who are currently doing it and follow in their footsteps. One of the things that made me inspired to work on this school was the biggest problem is that art schools that have animation programs, they don't specialize in animation, and they offer an extensive 4-year degree, but it turns out that the degrees are not needed to get into the animation industry. It's all about having a good portfolio. And a lot of these schools are not taught by industry professionals. A lot of them have never even worked at a major studio. And your time is split between career or non-career relevant courses and then introductory level courses. So you really never get to a professional level in your training. So trying to get a job afterwards is very difficult. A lot of these schools cost $50,000 a year for some of these top art schools, and you end with no direction on your portfolio or website in order to show your work, and that is the thing that gets you hired. Most give no referrals, and many students are left with no job, and they're buried in debt with a degree that's useless to them for anything but the industry that they just weren't able to get hired in. And so I wanted to develop a better way, and I gathered some great minds about what it would take to put together a school where all of the curriculum is built around the final result, which is a great portfolio that will help you get hired. And so every assignment and everything that we do is crafted around providing the skills and the fundamentals and the portfolio that you need to walk out and immediately apply to some of the better studios in the country. The advantages, obviously, we have lots and lots of industry experience and connections. We are keeping the school itself very small, so it also will be prestigious and have far less overhead than most of the bigger colleges that have a lot of administration. Using the hybrid online work environment to our advantage so we can have the masterclass teachers, but not pay like full salaries to like teacher salaries. And it fills a hole in the market. Kansas City has absolutely nothing like this, even though Walt Disney started here 100 years ago, and it has a huge digital media market that we're trying to push real hard right now. And you know, kind of harness a little bit of that magic of having Walt Disney, you know, pretty much the world's biggest and best entrepreneur of all time that started here, embracing that sort of animation, digital media background. And right now the animation industry is huge. It's bigger than ever, and it really needs a lot of artists. So I'll go ahead and stop my screen share here and wrap up with that.
Okay, Gavin, thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Gavin of the Hollywood Animation Academy?
Oh, I didn't say what I was looking for. I'm in the early funding stages. Yeah. And, you know, I'm looking for help with funding any relationships with like local schools, because I've found that coordinating with local schools, high schools and technical training schools like CAPS and stuff is a great way for me to get in and inspire students that are already taking entry-level classes that haven't even considered animation as a possibility for them. Let them know that that is now a possibility. And so those kind of relationships have been really great. We're planning to try to open in fall of 2022 and in the Crossroads area. That's sort of the goal. You know, embrace that arts district and try to put like a really fun school full of, it'll be about 40 kids in the next 3 years.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow, that's something. Yeah, there's literally nothing like this here. Thank you.
Very, very cool.
As a digital artist myself.
Yeah. Very, very exciting. Well, thank you, Gavin. Jill.
Oh, I had a quick question, Gavin. This is from the COVID perspective. I was thinking, if the students here, you know, build their portfolio that you've talked about and they become animators here, is Hollywood at a place of, because of COVID, accepting that they will stay and work here in Kansas City? Or do you expect the talent to remain here, or do you expect the talent to still have to go to Hollywood?
Well, to be honest with you, they don't have to go to Hollywood. I'm personally working on a Netflix show right now remotely, and since the pandemic, it has opened the door. The entire industry has been working from home since the lockdown, and so like when live action stuff shut down because actors and directors couldn't get together on sets to meet with each other and film, we just kept on rolling and just kept on churning out content. And another thing that happened was, because so many more people were kind of stuck at home in front of their screens, it created this explosion of need for content. And so a lot more shows were getting greenlit, and you know, it's just really gone crazy. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics has predicted that effects artists and animators are going to grow, that industry is going to grow by 16% in the next 10 years, which is double all other occupations. So it's a really good time to get into the business.
Yeah, and you had those people that were doing the VFX for the films, and then they had to use like pre-visualization software to figure out where they needed to be. So they needed those animators to be able to be producing that. Yeah.
Pre-visualization has been a really big.
Thank you. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to have to stop Gavin at this point, though. But
yeah. Well, I think it'd be
continue the conversation offline. So, but yeah, Gavin, thank you so much for the presentation.